We may have a battle on the floor, but the battle is for the conference and the country.
A speaker has not been elected.
And so now here we are, being sworn at instead of being sworn in.
Control but no consensus. House Republicans fighting among themselves over who should serve as Speaker.
Kevin McCarthy of California became the first nominee in 100 years to fail to win enough support from his own colleagues during the first round of voting. By the end of the day, there were 3 failed attempts before the House voted to adjourn.
McCarthy's biggest obstacle, appeasing members of the Hardline Freedom Caucus who are withholding their support after their demands were rejected.
We said, we can get you to 218 with this. He stood up and he shook our hands and he said, I can't do it.
I will always fight to put the American people first, not a few individuals that want something for themselves.
I solemnly swear.
The House reconvenes tomorrow at noon to resume voting. Members must elect a new speaker before moving on to anything else, including the swearing in of the newly elected representatives.
TV5's Raven Blue looks at the potential long-term impact of a drawn-out battle.
It's not a good sign for the Republican Party that they can't come together even around who should be the Speaker of the House when they have a majority.
Michigan Democrat Dan Kildee had a front row seat on Tuesday to the spectacle unfolding in Congress. After 3 votes, Republicans failed to elect California Republican Kevin McCarthy to be the next House Speaker.
It's chaos in the Republican conference, and until they can figure out how they're going to, make a nominee formidable enough to actually be elected, it prevents us from doing everything else that we want to get started on.
With a very slim majority, McCarthy could only afford to lose 4 Republican votes. And even after agreeing to allow a controversial procedure pushed by right-wing members known as a motion to vacate, he lost 20 votes, preventing him from reaching the required 218 majority.
And this is one of the things that proves, I think, that Mr. McCarthy is not really well suited for this job. He gave away this incredible authority to a very small number of members. And then those very same members said, well, that's not good enough. I mean, that's not a strong speaker. That's not a strong leader.
In addition to this being the first time in 100 years the House Speaker vote went to multiple ballots, it's only the 8th time in history a speaker hadn't been chosen after 3 ballots. Kildee says the fight may serve as a sign of things to come when dealing with major issues down the road, like passing a budget.
It's not a good sign when the party in the majority, even when they're only working with one another, let alone working with us, but they can't even come to agreement with one another to move forward. That's just not a positive sign.
On the Democratic side, members united behind Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York, who received all 212 Democrat votes. Raven Blue, WNEM TV5.